Hello, everyone. This is Irej again from Girls Inc. And I have my friend Lyric. So we got something different for you guys this time. Usually we have like exercise videos, and usually I'm running around and I'm putting these guys to work. But this time I thought we'd take it slow and we try something new. So I don't know if you can notice, but I got something going on with me right now. And it's a little hint to what's to come, Lyric. Do you have any idea what's going on?
You know, it's on the tip of my
Yeah? Do you need another hint?
possibly.
All right, well, I got one more hint for you, and that is ba-bam.
Bird on your head. You're in a
It's
boat.
disappeared.
Gone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I didn't know any better, I'd say this had something to do with pirates.
You know what? I think you are absolutely right. Nice. Good guess. All right, so we know a lot of pirates, right? We know that they plundered the seas, that they were pretty cool. I definitely dressed up as a pirate once or twice when I was, well, even now, my disappearing bird. But did you know that there were female pirates? Oh yeah.
Female pirates.
So we're going to talk about one of the most famous female pirates, all right? It's basically just going to be like a story. We're going to tell you guys a story, and let's see if you guys, maybe know some of the answers to some of these questions that I have that go with the story. So we are going to be talking about Ann Bonny. Ann Bonny was born in Ireland in 1698. This is a little whiles back, right?
Oh.
After a lot of stuff that happened in Ireland, they moved to South Carolina, to Charleston, actually. And in 1711, her mom passed away. After that, Anne became known for her fierce and courageous temper. Now, whether that's good or not, we're about to find out.
Uh-oh.
In 1718, right? In 1718, she ran away with a penniless sailor, which didn't make her dad very happy because they were from a wealthy family. Her dad had money, right? He was a little rich. And he wasn't very happy when he found out. So he told her, you can't come back, right? They both left to sail en route to the Bahamas, which was their first mistake. Why do you think this was their first mistake? Why the Bahamas? Why was that a bad thing to do then?
I would love to go to the Bahamas. Go to the beach, relax, drink out of a coconut.
Exactly. I love coconuts. But during the early 1700s and late 1600s, it was the pirate hotspot because of the fact that all the islands were connected together and it was a trade route for major countries. There was ships filled with gold and loot and just things that were perfect for a pirate to steal, I would say so.
I catch your drift.
Right? And this was near the end of the pirate golden age. So this was kind of towards the end of where we hear all these big pirate names like Captain Blackbeard. Big names like that. This is towards the end of that. So this is a little start of a new pirate age of women, right? So the Caribbean was a major trade route. John Bonny, her husband, actually worked to get rid of pirates, right? So Ann Bonny was like, married a guy who's a penniless sailor who actually worked to get rid of pirates. He would send information to the Navy in exchange for money, right? You need to make money. You got to live. You got to make sure that you got a good life. So he actually worked for the Navy. When they would stop in ports or these new areas, she would actually go into the town and become friends with the same people her husband was trying to hunt. So in these towns, she would sit with pirates and hear their stories of courage and plunder and life out on sea, and she would actually take very, very much interest into it. I don't blame her, though, right?
It does sound interesting.
I think I don't know if I would want to live the life of a pirate, but hearing pirate stories is definitely something I'm in for.
I think I could do it. What do you think if I got an eye patch?
How would you be able to see anything if you had an eye patch? Wouldn't everything just be a little bit more?
It would just add character.
Well, my disappearing bird add character right now too, but I should get a mustache. Maybe that's what I need. Maybe it add character, a little mustache.
Weird.
Okay, so one day, Anne, while she was out on the city, met a man named Calico Jack. He was considered one of the most powerful and most dashing pirates of the day, back in the day. What do you think happens next? He's telling her all these stories about how awesome life at sea is. And so she just decides to.
I don't know. I think she might run away with Calico Jack. Be a pirate.
And yes, she did. She up and ran and left her husband and joined Captain Jack on sea. And her first plunder was that she stole a ship. She helped the crew steal a ship in Cuba, and the ship's name was the William. Good old William. But as sea rule, a boat is usually a she, but she's got the name William, so stick with
Props
me.
to William. You know, we stand.
The William. So Mary Read was I'll give you a little tease of what's about to come.
Say, who's Mary?
So there was not many female pirates back in the day, and it's because pirates were superstitious. They didn't allow bananas on board. They didn't allow, if you had eggs, you had to break the eggshells really, really small, or else they thought witches would come. They didn't allow, right? Why do you think they didn't allow women on sea?
I don't know. I think maybe they had some sort of bias towards women, and, you know, being a pirate definitely takes a lot of courage and strength and bravery, and maybe they thought that those were things women didn't have. But of course, we know that's not true.
That's not true, because Ann Bonny is going to show you very different. The reason they thought that women shouldn't be pirates is because they would anger the sea. That they would get that they would not pay enough attention to the sea itself, and so the sea would get angry, which is why those crazy storms happen. But alas, whenever, if anyone on the boat ever said to Anne, if they ever said, you know, the sea wouldn't be very happy if you were here, Anne would just throw them overboard. She said, I rule this ship, and she would just throw them over the board and said, who's captain now, right? Who's in charge? She let them know. She did not.
She was in charge.
She was in charge. She did not take any of their attitude, and she really, really did fight courageously and with power. So soon, as I said before, she met another woman, right? Another woman joined their crew, Mary Read. Mary Read also lived a very difficult life, just like Anne. However, once she became a pirate, she did one thing different than Anne. Whereas Anne only dressed as a man during battle, or, Anne, she dressed as a man during battle and day-to-day life. As she was on the ship, she would also dress as a man, but Bonny, she did not dress as a man during her ship. She was out and proud, and the only time she would dress as a man was for battle. Why do you think Anne decided to dress as a man only for battle?
Maybe to seem more strong. It's so interesting how we associate being strong and being masculine.
Right? Being masculine.
Can't be feminine and still.
And here she is, a pirate who people feared across the ocean, right? As a woman. And honestly, who knows? I have no idea why she dressed like a man. I have no idea. But some say that maybe it was to hide her identity. Others say that maybe it was to seem more menacing. Who knows? I personally like the fact that maybe it was to hide her identity, right? Maybe she just didn't want people to know. She did come from a family of rich people. You never know.
That's true.
Right? So Anne, just like Anne and Mary, were both very, very clever and very strong. Anne was known as someone who was treacherous. Once, while a merchant ship was approaching, she grabbed a mannequin. I don't know why they had mannequins on a pirate ship. This, guys, maybe if you know, you can tell me, why would they have mannequins on board to, like...
Maybe a little pirate clothing boutique.
Right? Maybe they're putting their clothes on. Maybe they don't want their clothes getting wrinkly. I don't know. But they had a mannequin. So she grabbed
that's the least of their concern.
Exactly. I think they have these pirate navy ships coming after them, and they have a mannequin. So
Our clothes can't be too wrinkly.
Well, they're gonna have to worry a little bit more because she took the mannequin, brought it to the top of the ship, and covered it in red paint, right? And she stood above it in this power pose. And when the other ship saw from a distance, they said, "No way. No, thank you." So they were scared enough and turned around just from looking at it.
They probably thought the mannequin was a person from afar.
Exactly. And that's how she tried fighting. She fought with brains and intelligence, right? Instead of trying to go straight in with as many people as she can, she didn't want her crew getting hurt, or her and Captain, obviously, Jack. She didn't want their crew getting hurt, so she would play smart, right? She took a step ahead, which is honestly what a lot of pirates of that day would do. So Anne was clever. She used her brain to really just think smart and fight, right? So she didn't lose crewmen. She didn't want her crew getting hurt. You were on the sea for a long time. You know, we go to if we want to go across the ocean, we just go on a plane. It takes a couple hours and we're in a whole different country, right? They would take months just to get to another place, months out on sea. So it took a long time. It took, here's a fun fact, right? During Plymouth, like the pilgrimage, when the pilgrims came, it took them 66 days to get from England to New England. 66 days. That's 2 months and a few added days. It's a long time on sea.
Days.
Exactly. So in 1 month, Captain Jack, Anne, and Mary and their crew raided over 9 ships just in 1 month. So they had so many riches on their ship with them, on board with them. Most pirates use tactics like fear to scare enemies before they even begun fighting, right? That's what Anne did. She used the mannequin to make sure that the enemies didn't even come close to her. One famous pirate that we've already mentioned, Blackbeard, used one such method of scaring. What was his method? What do you guys think? What do you think, Lyric?
Maybe he just didn't wash his beard for a while, and it probably smelled really bad, and they're like, "Stinky Blackbeard, you smell so bad from miles away." And so they avoided him.
Well, you're not wrong. They didn't shower for days. They didn't have any clean water to shower with, so they're all stinky. But you're really close. He did do something with his beard. What Blackbeard would do, he would light fuses and put gunpowder all in his beard before a fight. And when the ship would approach, he would light them on fire. So as enemies would approach, his beard was covered in flames and fire and black smoke was oozing out. And people were like, you could barely see his menacing eyes from behind all that smoke. And that's how he became one of the most known pirates in history. Just fear. They said that Blackbeard had actually never hurt a single person. People were just scared.
Outsmart. Work smarter, not harder.
Exactly. You got to think big. You got to think smart. So even then, Captain Jack, Anne, and Mary, they made a reputation, right? With their fear, with their power. The people around the Caribbean area knew who, the woman pirates were. They knew who Anne was. They knew who Mary were, right? Because they were powerful, they were strong, and people knew not to mess with them. So the William, right, the ship and her crew grew a reputation when they plundered the Caribbean. This is when Governor Woodes Rogers was also hunting for pirates. This is the same man Anne's husband used to work for, right? Her first husband. All right. And so what happened is that the reputation, it caught up to them, right? Governor Rogers hired a man named Captain Barnett to hunt the William and her crew. So after many years of looking for pirates, Governor Rogers knew what to do. Even though Anne and Mary only had been hunting being pirates for a few long months, they created a few long months, and this is the legacy they created. They were all. Doesn't this seem like years? You think they've been doing this for years? They've only been doing this for months. Oh, yeah.
I'm so sorry.
All right. Yeah. So they basically, this all happened in the span of about a little, not even like 2 years. This is less than 2 years. This is all happening. They're taking ships, he's throwing people off board. She's stealing ships, and this is all happening in less than 2 years.
Oh God. I'm so sorry.
So after about 2 years, right, Governor Woodes Rogers was hunting for pirates. He hired a man named Captain Barnett to hunt the William and her crew. In 1720, Barnett caught up with William, right, the ship, near Jamaica. He demanded that the William and her crew surrender, but Captain Jack responded with shooting his cannon right at the ship. He said, nope. Captain, so it was sad given the fact the entire crew was asleep down below. So during all this fighting, everyone was fast asleep and no one was waking up to help the crew.
Oh no.
And which is why the two women took the lead. So Anne and Mary, they said, we got it. We'll take care of it. And so they did. The two were good friends and even better fighters. So they really held down the fort for a bit. But Mary Read and Annie Bonny fought even after the captain had asked his crew to surrender. So even after Captain Jack said, hey, Anne, hey, Mary, we need to surrender. We can't defeat them. They have more people. They said, we're not going down with that fight.
Period.
Right. But eventually, obviously, the William and her crew was overtaken. So both were arrested and brought to trial. Now, here's the thing. The men were all convicted, right? They're pirates. They went to jail. But the women were not convicted. They went to trial and they said, they went through the process, and then they find out both women were pregnant. Both women were about to have babies, which meant in that law during that time, you could not convict a woman. So, unfortunately, Mary would pass away due to a fever in 1721, but Anne was released. So after all this, after her 2 years of pirating and plundering and, she returned back to her hometown in Charleston.
I was going to say, did she go back to the seas or did she go back to her hometown?
She went back to her hometown, she remarried, and then she had 8 children, and she lived a really long life. She lived until 1782. So for her, that's actually
imagine having a mom that cool. Think
right?
about the story she might have told her kids.
There's one time where I threw a man overboard.
Swell old time. That mannequin red. Cool and pirate mom. So you can do both. You can be a pirate and then you can settle down and have kids.
You can be a mom. You can have 8 kids and live a long life. She lived a very long life for that time, which is really cool. So that is the story of Anne Bonny and Mary Read, who are both really cool, I would say. And I think my favorite part is definitely the fact that they had a reputation, right? Like these two women had people feared them. Like other men pirates, when they saw them, they were like, that's Mary and Anne. Like people knew them. I wish I was that popular.
More notorious than popular, right? But yeah. I think my favorite part was definitely the mannequin.
The mannequin, right? That's
mannequin
smart.
With the red paint.
That's quick thinking and very smart thinking, right? To think on your feet and be like, how can we win this fight without having a fight? Right?
Using your brain to outsmart someone.
Exactly.
Sometimes we can't, we don't always have to solve our problems with violence like most pirates did, but we can use our brain and outsmart
So, Lyric, here I got a question for you, right?
I got an answer.
What is your pirate name? if you were a pirate, what would your pirate name be? Mine would be, oh no. Mine would be the Incredible Irej. That's a terrible pirate name.
This is the Incredible Hulk. Mine would be something like the Scabby Scallywag.
The Scabby. Mine would be like Captain Hook, but hooky.
I think that name's already taken.
Well, you know what? Maybe I'll have hooks on both hands. All right.
Captain Hook squared.
Hooks. I'll be Captain, the notorious female pirate, Captain Hooks.
Captain Hooks.
There
Maybe
we go.
spells the next.
Exactly. We need to add flair, right? Like Blackbeard did with his beard. We need dramatic flair to be pirates that are memorable.
And nothing says that like having 2 hooks for hands instead.
2 hooks for hands, 2 pegs for feet. I'm gonna have 2 eye patches.
2 eye patches for 2 parents.
2 birds. They'll be seeing double, right? When I'm fighting on the ships, they'll be seeing doubles. So
it'll be a sight to see. One day.
Yeah,
if
one day.
We're both. You're pirates.
Back on sea.
It's nice to dream. But yeah.
Right, exactly. So if you guys got a pirate name, let us know. We want to hear what your pirate names are. And I hope that you guys got to learn a little new story. It's a little wild, it's a little fun, it's a little crazy, but there's a lot of people out there in history who are a little kooky, a little fun, a little crazy. So I hope you guys learn more about them. Look out and be curious. So thank you very much. Remember to be strong, smart, and bold. And we hope to see you next time. Bye, guys.